recap night 40. We're getting this one started from the rink today because I have no time and there's 13 games. So a pretty low scoring one here. It ends up being a 2-1 shootout win for the Senators. Marco Rossi opens the scoring in the second period for the Wild. Eric Brandstrom scores about 3.5 minutes into the third to tie things up. Those are the only 2 goals in regulation. In the shootout, we go scoreless until round 3 where Josh Norris seals the deal. The Wild continue to struggle to close out games, as has been the case for them all year, but some good goaltending for them, which is a good transition from what they've been getting the last couple of games. Unfortunately, Anton Forsberg was just enough better than Philip Gustafsson to get the W here. It's a 2-1 shootout win for the Senators. Game 2, the Flyers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Pretty wild second period in this one. Owen Tippett opens it in the first, and then there is 5 goals in the second. Forster and Walker for the Flyers, and then Carlson and 2 from Jonathan Marchessault for the Golden Knights to lock it at 3-3. No goals in the third, and then in the overtime, it is Sean Couturier that's the hero for the Flyers. A wild 69 nice shots in this game. Neither goalie was fantastic, but both still pretty good, held their teams in it and made some big saves when needed. It's a 4-3 overtime win for the Flyers over the Golden Knights, who are starting to slump just a little bit. The Predators taking on the Blackhawks for the Battle of the Basement in the Central, and the Preds are no longer the representative from the basement. They win this one 4-2. Goals from Yakov Trenin, Gustav Nyquist, Craig Smith, and a second from Craig Smith. For the Blackhawks, it's Phil Kurashev and Tyler Johnson with their only 2 goals. Actually a pretty even game here. Shots were identical at 32-31 in favor of Nashville, but Nashville gets better goaltending from Czech's notes Kevin Lankinen, not UC Saros. So both goalies were pretty solid, though. Soderblom stopping 28 of 31, while Lankinen stops 29 of 31, so the one extra save is the difference maker here. It's a 4-3 final in favor of the Preds, who jump to 7th in the Central, while the Blackhawks fall down to 8th. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, looking to extend their winning streak. Problem for the Oilers is that the Stuart Skinner from the beginning of the year that the rest of the NHL knows and loves was very much back in this game. He stops just 18 of 23, while on the other end of the rink, Jonas Johansson is exceptional, stopping 39 of 43 after a couple tough starts. First period's 2 goals for the Oilers and 1 from the Bolts. Derek Ryan, Hamblin, and Kucherov in the second period. Kucherov and Ryan with his second each. In the third, Jeannot, Bouchard, Stamkos, Glendening, and Sergachev. It's all Lightning there. Again, ends up a 6-3 final. Edmonton, as far as shot goes, almost doubled the Lightning, 43-24. But once again, Johansson's the better goalie. Stuart Skinner struggles mightily in this one, and it ends up costing them the game, a 6-4 final in favor of the Lightning. The Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. We already knew who was going to win this game because the Hurricanes lost their last game, meaning they were destined to win this one, and that's exactly what happened. Ends up being a 4-2 final. Sidney Crosby with both the goals for the Pens, while Sebastian Aho, Brett Burns, and Seth Jarvis are the goal scorers for the the Hurricanes. Seth Jarvis with 2 in this one. The second was an empty netter. He also notched an assist on the goal by Brett Burns. Antti Raanta and Tristan Jarry were both pretty good in this one, stopping 30 of 33 for Jarry and 26 of 28 for Raanta. The Devils taking on the Rangers in the first edition of the Battle of the Hudson this year. A much more entertaining game than that Penguins game. 4 goals in the first, none in the second, and another 4 in the third. For the Rangers, 2 goals from each of Artemi Panarin and Jimmy Vesey. For the Devils, Jack Hughes gets a goal and an assist in his return, so that's good to see. The other goal scorers are Eric Holla and Andre Palat. Blake Wheeler does notch on an empty netter here for the Rangers. It ends up being a 5-3 final. The Devils kind of threw it away at the end of the game there. Shesterkin was pretty good. He stops 30 of 33. Meanwhile, Vanacek struggles a bit, stopping just 30 of 34. But again, a pretty even match both ways here. Excited to see the remaining 3 matchups these guys have throughout the year. But the Rangers do get the best of them in the first round. The Bruins taking on the Canadiens for the second time in less than 10 days, and they were not going to be denied this time after losing to the Canadiens in overtime or a shootout, I believe, in the last game. In the first period, 2 goals from the Bees from Charlie McAvoy and Trent Frederick. The second period, goals from Zacha, Slavkovsky, and Trent Frederick once again. And then in the third, it's James Van Riemsdyk and Kovacevic scoring the goals. A 5-2 final here for the Bees, who improved to 12-1-2. Their record is unbelievable. Jake Allen struggled a bit in this one, stopping 39 of 44. Obviously, there's a lot of volume there, but nonetheless, you'd like to see another save or 2. For Swayman, he stops 20 of 22. Another pretty good performance from him. Pretty crazy to think that a .909 save percentage is low for his standards, but the way he's been playing so far this season, I'd say that's a fair statement. Nonetheless, an all-around really solid game from the Bruins. The Calgary Flames taking on the New York Islanders, and these poor Flames, man, they cannot get any momentum rolling if it saved their lives. The Islanders are on a 7-game losing streak coming into this game, and they find a way to beat the Flames 5-4 in a shootout. 2 goals in the first, one from Pospisil. Not going to pretend to know how to pronounce that. And Hudson Fasching. And the second is Kyle Palmieri, Matt Barzal, and Blake Coleman. In the third, Mackenzie Weegar, Brock Nelson, and Yegor Sharangovich. The shootout winner goes to Oliver Walsh from this one in the 4th round. Both goalies played pretty well. The numbers aren't really going to say that, but some good saves either way here. Relatively high shot volume, 39 for the Flames and 33 for the Islanders. But once again, Markstrom just not good enough to catch the win for the Flames, who, despite having a decent week last week, start this week off on the wrong foot. The Coyotes visiting the Winnipeg Jets, and the Jets stay red hot in this one. They end up winning 5-2. For the Coyotes, goals are from Matias Maccelli and Matt Dumba with his 2nd of the year. For the Jets, Mark Scheifele, Vlad Domestikov, Kyle Connor, Josh Morrissey, and Mason Appleton. Brendan Dillon also notched 2 assists, quietly having a fantastic year, not only approaching his career high in goals, but throwing some assists in there as well with a fight, because why not? For the goaltending, Krell Vejmelka stops 21 of 25, so again, not a great performance from him. Ingram is definitely inching toward becoming the starter for this Coyotes team. For the Jets, Laurent Brossoit stops 16 of 18, so he didn't see a lot of rubber, but just good enough to get the W, especially if your team's going to score 5. If you're only facing 18 shots, you better be picking up a win. So a good game all around from the Jets. The Blue Jackets taking on the Capitals. This had all the makings of a trap game for the Caps, but they do end up getting it done. The final here is 4-3. No goals in the first, 4 in the second, 1 for the Blue Jackets and 3 for the Capitals. Those are from Gaudreau, Milano, Protas, and Ovechkin with his 5th. In the third period, there are 3 from Provorov, Lapierre, and Danforth. So a good night for Hendrix Lapierre. He gets a goal and 2 assists. The same can be said for Alexei Protas. It's a 4-3 final for the Caps. Charlie Lindgren was pretty good in this one. Elvis Merzlikins continues to struggle. What else is new on that end, though? The Dallas Stars taking on the Colorado Avalanche in what was another banger of a game. The first period, 2 goals from Sagan and Pavelski. It's 2-0 Stars headed to the second. Tyler Sagan opens the scoring there as well. It's 3-0 Stars, and they were really all over it. I mean, the shots were pretty even at this point in the game, but the Avs were getting in penalty trouble. The Stars were just dominating their ozone time. And from about the midway point of the second on, a flip gets switched, and it is just all Avs. They score 6 unanswered on Jake Ottinger, who ends up having a pretty mediocre night by the time everything is said and done. Again, a 6-3 final. Down to the last 2 games of the night here, we're going to ignore whatever the hell is going on here. The Kraken taking on the Canucks. JT Miller opens the scoring in the first. He is the lone goal scorer there. I'm going to try to put a side-by-side together of the Ducks' non-goal from last night and JT Miller's goal from tonight. I don't know. JT Miller's does not look like it's in all the way. Silverberg's from last night looks like it is in all the way. Sick league. We move forward. Second period goals from Jamie Alexiak, Jordan Eberle, and Quinn Hughes, who continues to stay red hot. In the third, Yanni Gord, Matty Beniers, and Niels Hoglander. The Canucks actually made it pretty interesting with 9 seconds to go despite being down a goal. They win the draw at center ice. Basically go right down the ice, get a good chance. Puck goes out of play. They get another chance off the draw, and they do not get the chance to tie the game up. But this was a really entertaining game, kind of a tough one for Thatcher Demko. Frankly, neither goalie was great. Save percentages of .875 and .846 for Grubauer and Demko, respectively. But nonetheless, a very entertaining game. It's a 4-3 win in favor of the Kraken. And the final game of the night, the Kings taking on the Blues, and the Kings sent Jordan Binnington back to the 2022-2023 season. He was not good tonight, stopping just 26 of 31. Goals for the Kings from Byfield, Lizotte, Kempe, Dubois, and Fiala. The only goal for the Blues came from Jake Neighbors in the third with about 4 minutes to play, so not really anything happening there. Kind of a shame, honestly, to see Cam Talbot's shutout bid canceled out there, but nonetheless, it's a big win for the Kings over a Blues team that's been, kind of hit or miss, very good or very bad. Tonight was one of their worst nights, despite the shots being pretty even. You just need some saves from Binnington, and that didn't happen tonight. So a 5-1 win for the Kings, and that is it for NHL regular season recap. Night 40 now. Kind of weird that we're already this far in, but we'll see you guys tomorrow for, I believe, 5 games on night 41.